Alright, now that the series has made some headway, I suspect the next thing I should teach is how to smoke a pipe. The first thing to know is different kinds of tobacco require different preparation. Right now I'm just going to do one. I'm doing the one I've talked about before, Lane 1Q, because it's a nice light smoke and it's the afternoon and I've smoked heavy tobacco already today and be good for a change, and besides, this is what most people are going to gravitate towards anyway. Most people don't want what's strong and robust. They're not black coffee drinkers. They like the cream and sugar route, so Lane 1Q. The first thing you're going to do, assuming you are using a light ribbon tobacco, is take a pinch. Don't pinch it too hard. Just hold it loose. Put it in. Make sure it makes its way in loosely. What I like to do very often is I'll take a match and push it down with that. You don't want to tamp it with something too powerful because you don't want to compress it and cause it to harden. You want it to have that loose springiness. So when you see me doing this, you can see I'm not forcing it. You don't want it to become just a solid mass in there. Usually you'll do 3 or 4. And again, matchstick prevents over compression. Just put it in like that. Towards the top is where you're going to want it a little looser because the flame has to come down from the top and it needs oxygen in order to be able to sustain. This is actually probably where a lot of people fail, only because they don't have the knowledge to get them through the experience, and they realize they've got to relight the thing 1,000 times and they just can't figure out what they're doing wrong. So what you're going to do is a little more compact at the bottom. You tamp it at the top so that it is somewhat compressed, but again, light pressure. You're not trying to turn it into a brick. You want it to just be to the point where it's still springy, but there's not so much air through it that it's going to burn unevenly. So here's how it looks. Once you have it compressed appropriately and packed to the extent that you'd like it, take a lighter or a match. Match is technically superior, but you can start with a lighter. It's easier and it just makes things a lot simpler than striking a match until you have it completely figured out. And I'll go over different types and how to do those. I'm just starting with what I assume everyone's going to gravitate towards more. So at that point, the process is fairly obvious. You light it. But how do you keep it lit? What I do is this. And you can use a thumb, you can use a coin. A lot of people use a coin. I don't. Because the old-timer way is always a thumb or a couple of fingers to apply negative pressure so that the fire is drawn down. And it may take you a couple of lights, especially if the tobacco is wetter. Don't worry about it. Lighting it on the first try is not a necessary accomplishment, and when the weather is more damp or whatever is going on or you're talking, you'll have to relight it. Very often it actually tastes better on the second light, only because the moisture gets wicked out, it's drier, it lights easier, it tastes kind of toasted, so don't sweat it. Negative pressure. And as you do that, you should notice the smoke thickening. The first draw before you apply negative pressure will be a much looser kind of smoke. And then the mouthfeel of it will give you a sense when it's about as thick as you need it to be. And that's how you light a pipe. That's how you smoke a pipe. I'll go over the other tobaccos in later videos. This one is just a simple, basic video on how to light a pipe, keep it lit, pack a pipe, and I'll go over other kinds of tobacco and how to clean your pipe in future videos. I hope this helped as usual, and if it didn't, well, that's unfortunate. Let me know why.